What's up, everybody? It's the Alex Leak and Friends NBA podcast. Back once again. I'm your host, Alex Leak, and let's talk the 2019 NBA free agency. There's a lot of craziness going on in the association. Just this weekend, Kawhi with the Bombshell shocks the NBA world, signing with the LA Clippers, choosing the LA Clippers over the favorites, the Lakers and the Raptors, the team he won a championship with last season. Reportedly, Kawhi Leonard told the Clippers, "Get Paul George and I'm coming." And that leads us to the second part of the trade. Paul George demands a trade to the Clippers to join Kawhi Leonard, leaving OKC. If you remember, just one summer ago, Kawhi Leonard signed a 4-year deal with the Thunder. And when everyone thought he was committing to the Thunder and Russell Westbrook long term, 1 year later, one summer later, he turns around and heads to LA to join Kawhi Leonard on the Clippers. OKC gets 3 first-round picks back from the Clippers and 2 first-round picks from the Heat, as well as Danilo Gallinari and Gilgeous-Alexander. So a big haul for the Thunder. But first of all, let's talk about what this does for the Clippers. I thought the Clippers were a long shot to get Kawhi, the third of the 3 teams. I just didn't see it happening, and none of us would have ever anticipated Paul George going with him to anywhere. So the fact that he was able to convince Paul George to go with him to the Clippers, very well done. That's crazy. It's going to be a contender. As of right now, Las Vegas has these Clippers as the favorite to win the 2020 NBA championship. Paul George, of course, coming off a Finals MVP, beating the Warriors in the NBA Finals in 2019 and winning Finals MVP with the Toronto Raptors. So it's crazy alone that Kawhi would leave, win a championship in Toronto, and then leave. But all the talk had been that he wanted to go home to LA, and it's just most of us assumed it was going to be the Lakers joining LeBron James and Anthony Davis. Instead, he goes to the crosstown rival. Will be playing in the same building as the Lakers, in the Staples Center. So you add the combination of Paul George, Kawhi Leonard, Patrick Beverley. That's a hell of a defensive team. Kawhi, one of the best Kawhi, probably the best defender in the game, or one of the best defenders, and Patrick Beverley, probably the best point guard defender in the game. So Clippers are going to be tough to score on in 2019-2020. As well as Paul George is a hell of a defender too. A lot of length with those guys, those wings that they'll be adding to the roster. So yes, I think the Clippers have to be contenders, have to be in the mix for winning the championship going forward. It's going to be crazy to see, and I am looking forward to watching Kawhi Leonard and Paul George in Clippers uniforms going forward. Now, should Russell Westbrook and the OKC fans feel betrayed by Paul George's move? I think so, a little bit. I mean, he had a chance to go to LA last summer, go to the Lakers. Didn't do it, shocked everybody by re-upping in OKC and saying that this was going to be the place. And it all seemed like Russell Westbrook had earned Paul George's respect and was going to play together long term for years, but it didn't work out. Lost in the first round of the playoffs, and now Paul George bolts to LA. I think the fans can feel betrayed. Westbrook and the Thunder is just business. It is what it is. It's what have you done for me lately, and you gotta win. You gotta win each year. So going out in the first round definitely, I believe, played a factor in Paul George's decision. Like I said, OKC gets back a lot in the Paul George trade. I think they're heading for a complete rebuild with these 5 first-round picks coming in, and Gilgeous-Alexander, and the young guys in OKC, which leads to Russell Westbrook talking with the Thunder about a possible trade. Places he's been rumored to go to would be Miami or Toronto or Houston. Russell Westbrook could go to the Heat and join Jimmy Butler, have a 1-2 punch of Russell Westbrook and Jimmy Butler, which I think that's a pretty good combination. Maybe even slightly better than the combination of Paul George and Russell Westbrook, but we'll see if that happens. Them two in Miami. The other possibility is Toronto to take the spot that Kawhi left and be the star there in Toronto if that's what Russell Westbrook. Or the third option, which has been rumored in the last day or so, would be Russell Westbrook going to the Houston Rockets, being traded to the Rockets to join James Harden. I don't know if they would keep Chris Paul or probably move Chris Paul in the deal if they can. That's a big contract they're dealing with Chris Paul. But if you could team James Harden and Russell Westbrook, I think that's definitely an upgrade over Chris Paul and James Harden. So we'll see what Westbrook does, if he stays in OKC or if he bolts for somewhere else and sends the Thunder into a major rebuild. The other big news, the Lakers missing out on Kawhi, but they didn't stand pat. They've already had LeBron and Anthony Davis. They brought back Rajon Rondo and JaVale McGee. They signed Boogie Cousins to go on a 1-year deal. And they also get Danny Green, 3-point shooting player, and Quinn Cook away from the Golden State Warriors. If you watched the NBA Finals and this playoff run, you remember Quinn Cook playing big in some big moments there in the playoffs. So if you look at the Lakers now, you got LeBron, you got Anthony Davis, Boogie Cousins, Rondo. If you remember, Cousins, Rondo, and Anthony Davis were teammates in New Orleans on the Pelicans 2017-2018, but Cousins' season got cut short with an Achilles injury. Lakers hoping Cousins will be as close as possible back to full strength for this upcoming year, full health, as he was definitely not himself in the finals, obviously hurt, but we all know he rushed back from injury to make it to those finals. So the Lakers, are they contenders with this team? LeBron, Anthony Davis, Boogie Cousins, Rondo, JaVale McGee, Danny Green, Quinn Cook, Kyle Kuzma. I think this team can contend. They're in the mix. They could also sign more pieces. Kyle Korver, Carmelo Anthony. I've heard even Jeff Green. We'll see what the Lakers do going forward. But they're definitely in the mix. Along with new head coach Frank Vogel. So we'll see what the Lakers look like. They should be different this year. Now, Magic Johnson was met with Kawhi Leonard and seemed very optimistic that Kawhi was going to sign with the Lakers. I think he got most of the hype started with Magic Johnson's tweets after meeting with Kawhi, making it sound like it was all but a done deal. Magic Johnson, will the Lakers not only miss out on Kawhi, Magic Johnson tweets out, quote, Kyle Kuzma can score, but he has to have a big season on defense if the Lakers are going to win the championship, end quote. I think he's looking at the rest of the roster as constructed and saying that Kuzma is going to have to bring some defense because the rest of these guys are not. Anthony Davis will bring defense, but we saw LeBron not bringing much defense last year. Part of that could be he was hurt, but even at the end of the year when the season was on the line, you didn't see a lot of defense out of LeBron, so we'll see if he brings it this next year in big moments on the defensive side of the ball. Boogie Cousins, not really known for his great defense, but there's some pieces there. So we'll see if the Lakers fill the roster out, Kyle Korver, shooters like that. But the Lakers have to consider this a missed opportunity to get Kawhi, to go with LeBron and AD, to be the favorites, the prohibitive favorites, the best team in the league. Now they're just another piece. Now they're just in the hunt along with everybody else. They're right there with Golden State, LA Clippers, uh, Houston Rockets. They're in that mix, but they're not, head and shoulders above anybody like they would have been with Kawhi. So let's go to another team, the Brooklyn Nets, adding Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving in free agency. Big move for the Nets, getting these guys. The favorite to get KD and Kyrie was the New York Knicks, and the Nets stole it away. It's interesting that the Lakers and the Knicks were favorites to land big-time stars. That's been the history of the NBA, right? The Knicks and Lakers always get the stars. Well, the big markets. Well, you're seeing this year the Clippers, the second-tier LA team, the Clippers get the big stars. And the Brooklyn Nets, the team everyone says has no fans, hasn't won anything. They get KD and Kyrie. So it's maybe a little bit of a changing of the guard. We're seeing these star players pick the second-tier teams in these big cities. Ryan Russillo, I believe it was, made the reference to who picks the Mets over the Yankees. Well, that's what these guys are doing. Picking the Jets over the Giants. Going with the second team in the big city. It's interesting. If you're a Knicks fan, you have to be absolutely hurt over not being able to get KD or Kyrie. Julius Randle is small potatoes compared. Julius Randle, Taj Gibson, Bobby Portis. Those are small potatoes compared to KD and Kyrie. But there are some concerns. I mean, with KD, the Knicks said they weren't willing to give him a max deal because of the ruptured Achilles in the finals. The Brooklyn Nets, however, had no problem paying him. I think he recovers just fine, but there has to be a little bit of worry there. But I think KD comes back to... I think that's the Knicks striking out on getting Durant and going back and saying, oh, well, we were never going to sign him anyways. I think they absolutely would have. If given the opportunity, the Knicks are absolutely going to go after Durant. But I think it was Kyrie who made the decision that he wanted to go to the Nets over the Knicks and talk Durant into the Brooklyn Nets. Can this combo of Durant and Kyrie win a championship? That I'm not sure. I don't think they're going to be that great in 2019, 2020 with Durant hurt for pretty much all the year. I think Kyrie's going to have to carry the team, and it's a worse situation than it was in Boston. So he's going to have a heavy load on his shoulders. I don't expect a great year out of the Nets coming up, but give them a year, get Durant back healthy. Maybe this team, they should at least contend in the East. We'll see if they may be one or two pieces away from being actually coming out of the East. But Durant and Kyrie is a great foundation to build around. In my opinion, I have no problem with this. KD's earned the right to go wherever he wants. Based off the year that Kyrie had in Boston, there's got to be some worry there about Kyrie's leadership and his want to stay with one team. He seems to want to bounce around a lot right now. So he was unhappy in Cleveland under LeBron. 2 years in Boston, he wants out there. So we'll see if Durant and the Nets can calm down Kyrie and his wandering soul and get him to be happy on one franchise. All right, let's do our 2020 NBA champion predictions. And it's way ahead. We're way too early on this, but who do I have? Let's look at the contenders in each conference. In the West, I've got 4 teams, contenders, not good teams that have improved, not good teams that are going to make the playoffs and win a series. I'm talking legit contenders here. So don't get mad at me, Portland Trail Blazers fans or Utah Jazz fans. Contenders in the West, I'm going with the Warriors still. I know Clay is hurt with his torn ACL, but he should be back by the trade deadline or so. And if Curry and Draymond, and you add D'Angelo Russell now in free agency, if they can carry the team, get them just into the playoffs, I don't care if they're the 8th seed, get them into the playoffs, get Clay back healthy, this is going to be a tough team to beat in the playoffs. So, regardless if the Warriors make the playoffs, they're going to be tough to beat. So look out for them. I've got them number 1. They're always going to be a thorn in anybody's side. They've got chemistry. They've played together. I think D'Angelo Russell's a solid fit. The number 2 contender in the West, I have the Lakers. I think you look at LeBron, Cousins, Anthony Davis, and Rondo. That's a lot of talent there. And if they can stay healthy, Cousins and AD and Rondo have worked together before. They have some chemistry. They understand each other. LeBron can play with just about anybody. So I think there's talent there. My fear is that hopefully LeBron doesn't try to turn one of these big guys into a stretch 5. If he does, there's going to be problems. Both Cousins and AD, while they can hit the open 3, you don't want them sitting out there just shooting threes. You want these guys in the paint. You want them getting rebounds, blocking shots, getting putback dunks. Sure, they can hit the mid-range jumper, but you don't want these guys shooting threes. So LeBron, if the Lakers are smart, if LeBron's smart, don't turn these guys into Kevin Love or Chris Bosh, or don't try to. Some of you are like, why would they even consider that? Lakers are way smarter than that. Well, let's wait and see. You never know. Clippers are my 3rd contender in the West. You get Kawhi and Paul George to go with Patrick Beverley. That's a lock 'em down defense. Look out for the Clippers. They won 2 games against the Warriors in this year's playoffs without either of those 2 stars. You had 2 stars. Clippers are going to be tough to beat. I would love to see a Clippers-Lakers matchup in the playoffs. Clippers-Warriors would be a hell of a Western Conference Finals if that's what we get. And then the Rockets are the 4th contender in the West, of course. Anytime you have James Harden putting up the numbers that he put up last year, you're going to be tough to beat. So they're obviously going to be in there. Hopefully they get the Chris Paul and Harden drama figured out in time for the season. Whether they trade Chris Paul, whether they bring in Russell Westbrook, whatever they do, the Rockets are going to be tough to beat. So that's the contenders in the West. 4 teams: Warriors, Lakers, Clippers, Rockets. My prediction, it's very hard to say right now. I'm gonna stick with the Warriors though. I've got the Warriors coming out of the West in 2020. But we'll see. There's gonna be some more moves. This is the way too early finals predictions. Let's go with the contenders in the East. I got 4 teams out East. I think the Bucks are the number 1 contender with Giannis and those guys in Milwaukee. They're going to be tough to beat. They're the up-and-coming team. Giannis is a monster in the East. The more he develops, the more legit the Bucks are as champion contenders. So that will be interesting to watch for sure. The Sixers are my number 2 contender in the East with Embiid and Simmons. To go with Tobias Harris and the guys they put around them in Philly. They're going to be tough to beat. Yeah, they lost Jimmy Butler, but the Embiid and Simmons are developing. Embiid's one of the, probably the best center in the game. Sixers are up and coming team in the East. So look for, Sixers Bucks are going to be quite the rivalry going forward. Celtics, my 3rd team in the East. I know they lost Kyrie. I know they lost Rozier, but they still have Tatum. I know they lost Horford. But they have Tatum. They have Kemba Walker now. They've got pieces there. Good young Celtics team. Hell of a head coach in Brad Stevens. So the Celtics are going to be there in the East again. And then the Nets. Maybe not next year with only Kyrie, but once they get KD, they're going to be right there in the mix. They're going to put pieces around them. They should have a big 3 soon, I would expect. So look for the Nets to contend. My team coming out of the East in 2020, I'm going to take the Milwaukee Bucks. My prediction is Warriors-Bucks 2020 NBA Finals. I think the Sixers are right there. I think the Sixers probably take the Bucks to 7 games, but Giannis gets past Simmons and Embiid. And my sleeper team to watch on the rise, look for the New Orleans Pelicans with Lonzo Ball, Brandon Ingram, Zion, who made his Summer League debut this weekend. Zion looked like a monster out there. You see him rip the ball away from the defender and go and dunk it. It was really cool. He looks like a for sure star. So you add Lonzo, Ingram, Zion, and now they got J.J. Redick there as well. So the Pelicans are my sleeper team. If they get into the playoffs, look for them to make some noise in the West as well. So there's our breakdown of the 2019 NBA free agency. Hope you guys liked the episode. Don't forget to like, subscribe, or leave a comment. Tell me your guys' opinion if you agree or disagree on my takes. And thanks for tuning in, guys. Peace out.